Okay. Good evening, everyone. Sorry for the delay. We're here tonight for the special meeting to adopt the revised budget. Can I get a motion to open the meeting, please?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
All right, if we could stand for the pledge. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here tonight. As you know, our proposed budget for the 22-23 school year failed to gain approval at the polls. The Board of Education and district leaders took this result to heart, and we have worked together to determine how to proceed. We were determined to more fully understand why people voted as they did. I want to thank the community members who responded to our survey, seeking input on the reasons behind the budget failure. Your participation has led us to the revised budget. The revised budget calls for an increase of 2.75% rather than 3.35% originally proposed. No program cuts have been made. Many respondents pointed to the town's reassessment of property values, which preceded this budget by only a few weeks. While the Board of Education does not control assessments, we understand that receiving an increased assessment before the budget vote was alarming to many, especially those on fixed incomes or those struggling since the pandemic. Inflation was also a factor, with many people citing higher prices at the gas pump and in grocery stores as making it difficult for them to pay increased property taxes. We understand this as we are taxpayers as well. The school district is also facing higher prices for the goods and services it needs. We heard from some community members that we need to be more transparent and improve our communication regarding spending, and we pledge to do that going forward. We also heard from those who blamed poor voter turnout on the budget failure. The overriding reason for the no vote was simply the tax rate itself, and the sense that community members could not sustain continuing increases given the unique financial pressures we are all facing. We heard you, and we have proceeded accordingly. We listened to all comments and have a greater understanding of community sentiment. Excuse me. To review the survey results, you can go to the district clerk's page on our website. Thank you once again for being here tonight. I will now turn it over to Superintendent DiCarlo.
Thank you, Vice President Savino. I appreciate it very much, and a really great synopsis of where we're at. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to our Assistant Superintendent, Ms. Sandra Gillespie, who will take the board through, again, a brief overview as a result of our extended meeting on Tuesday night, getting input, and then if there are any final questions from the board, we'll field them, and then hopefully we will we do have to adopt the budget tonight because of the time frame by the state. So I'll turn it over to Ms. Cohesi.
Thank you very much. I just want to remind everyone that there have been more detailed presentations concerning this revised budget. If you have not seen them and you are looking for more information, please go to the district's website, go to the budget information. You can see the presentations and the video from each of those meetings. So what I want to bring to your attention quickly is the changes that we made from the last budget. We reduced equipment, high school boys lockers, a vehicle for our carpenter and snow removal, a high school waiting area project, transfer to capital for some playground renovations. Those are not playgrounds in their entirety, they are just certain pieces. Please understand that these were projects and things that were presented back in March, and while they are things that they're not just wants, they really are needs, they are things we're putting off for the future. We've also revised some salaries due to resignations and retirements that came in after the budget process. Okay, so we had some contract settlements with our administrators, And then we also, like I said, had some retirements and resignations that were not included in that first budget proposal due to the timing. And then on the bottom, you'll see the last piece that we removed is the cost of materials for a PSAT, SAT prep course. We will still have that course. The materials are no longer being updated by the vendor, so they are giving us those supplies, those materials for free. They just are not updating it anymore. Now, what does that mean? What do we still have? It maintains our class sizes. We still have our advanced placement and elective courses, our music, drama, athletics. We expanding Project Lead the Way and the enhancement of our curriculum plan and initiatives. Here's the net impact. The net impact is the budget is now at a 2.75% increase, and you can see where Carmel and Putt Valley assessments. Please note that the assessments that you receive from the town, the whole roll increased, not just your individual assessments. So the impact is not as great as you were thinking. Your assessments went up and your tax rate. When I did the initial change from the May 17th vote and applied the new assessments, that $299 was still the same. Putt Valley did change a little bit, and the reason Putnam Valley changed is their assessments grew more than Carmel's grew, so it gave them a bigger slice of the pie. What happens if the voters reject this district's budget on June 21st? The district will implement the contingent budget according to the resolution approved this evening. So this evening there is a resolution to adopt the revised budget, and there is a resolution in the event that the second budget is not approved, that the contingent budget is approved. So what does contingent mean? Under contingent budget, a district cannot exceed the prior year's tax levy. So the tax levy would be the same as the 2021 tax levy. The budget will need to be decreased by $3 million from the first budget that was rejected. You'll see here the different areas is administrative, program, and capital. And each one of those areas was reduced. What did we look at? We looked at administrative salaries and those resignations and retirements as we talked about. We'd be removing public relations, bringing that in-house. All equipment, unless it's health and safety, must be removed from the budget. Travel and conference for administrators' conferences, some technology, some software, and then some other business office, HR office technology and conferences. That all affects the administrative budget. The contingent capital reductions would be 3 non-instructional staff. We would reduce money from our custodial and our maintenance contractual. We would reduce all of the equipment, and again, those playground enhancements. And from our program budget would be approximately 8 staff, including benefits, most of the extracurricular clubs, modified freshman JV sports, all of the equipment except for the lifts. Transportation is part of the program budget, and we would need to still purchase the new lifts for the health and safety of the students and to maintain those buses. Then we would be looking at reducing our professional development and travel associated with that, 3 non-instructional staff, and some software from technology, for the total reduction of $3 million. How does that impact us? It's going to slow the pace of our instructional programs, which should be aligned with our strategic plan skills that require curriculum and professional learning. We'll be losing some software, facilities renovations, some transportation equipment, some buildings and ground equipment. We would lose modified freshman and JV sports, a majority of extracurriculars and clubs. It could lead to longer bus runs, overcrowding. It limits available drivers to Couple of Smith and athletic events, and such. There would also be a domino effect from instructional staff. As you reduce instructional staff, what does that do? It increases class sizes, and that would happen across all buildings. And then the administrator cut from the administrative budget. It would increase, sorry about that, that keeps coming back up. It would increase, increase duties among staff, less time to respond to families and staff, and less time to strengthen and develop programs. So what happens, a contingency budget, the tax levy remains the same. So from the budget that we'd be adopting tonight would be that additional $2.5 million coming from the budget. Then here is some information. This is how you can register to vote. You can also visit the district clerk's webpage, which is at mayapac.org, which will give you all of this information. Again, the same thing can be found on how and where to register to vote. You can follow along here. One date to note is Thursday, June 14th. That is the last day to register, and there will be in-person registration at the district office from 4 to 7 p.m. So, here's our calendar. Tonight, Thursday, is the board adoption of the budget and the contingency budget for the June 21st vote. Tonight, the budget statement after this meeting will be made public and put online. Next Thursday is the budget hearing. The budget hearing is where people can speak to the budget, but remember the budget's already been adopted. On Tuesday, June 14th is that in-person registration. Tuesday, June 21st is the budget vote at the Mayapac High School from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. If you cannot be there, absentee ballots can be obtained by request or on the district clerk page at mayapac.org. Completed ballots must be received by 5 p.m. on June 21st. And again, if the budget does not pass, we will be adopting a contingent budget. Please will also be, just so you know, the budget is still being, the vote is still being held at the high school. It will be by paper ballot, so we will be counting by hand after the polls close. So the results will take a while before they are available. Also note that we will be routing traffic a little differently than the last. We do have an event. It is our middle school moving up from 6 to 7. So probably from about 5:30 to 7:30, you will find more traffic in that area. We will still have specific parking for voters, but just try and be patient if you're trying to get in during that time frame. And with that, I turn it back over to you.
Thank you very much, Sandra. Vice President Savino, I'll turn it back over to you. Any board thoughts or comments prior to going to the consent agenda for tonight?
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Mr. Vice President, I can offer some thoughts.
Go ahead, Jen.
Yeah, so I just want to say job well done to the administration on making this adjusted budget. I think it was the right call when we deliberated on whether we were going to put the same one up or make an adjustment. I definitely think making smart cuts to this to be more friendly to the taxpayer, but also supporting our kids, because I didn't think we wanted to take a $3 million gamble by putting the same budget up. So I think what Mr. DeCarlo, you've done, Ms. Cohesi, what you've done, and the rest of the team, I think was really well done. And although I wasn't able to participate last week, I also think the board discussion on those cuts that you all had was very transparent. I watched the whole thing afterwards, and I think those are the type of conversations that people in the community want to see. Similar to the one we had when we decided what to do going forward after the budget fallout. So I think this has all been a good process in the wake of something that obviously no school district wants to face, but we got people's thoughts heard in the survey to help the budget hearing or that forum on Tuesday. So I think this process was the best we could have done given the circumstances. And I just want to say that I'll be voting aye on it tonight, and I think this is a really well done job by the administration.
Thanks, Jen.
I just have a question about the absentee ballots. You can get them online, so you can print it out?
No, you can't get the absentee ballots online. You can get an application for the absentee ballots online.
Okay, all right.
So once you fill out an application, then I first have to verify that you're registered, that you're a registered voter,
Right.
and then you would get an absentee ballot.
Okay, all right. I have a student going back to school, and in early June, so I wanna make sure we get to the vote. All right, thank you.
Okay.
Dave, or Ray, you have any comments or questions?
No, I think you guys did a great job, and again, I will be voting yes for put the budget back up, and, I think the kids deserve it. I mean, my kids got a great education out of this system, they're all graduated. Daughter's a speech pathologist, my son's in the, trades, and they came through the system as I did. And I think these children deserve it just as much as I got, and my, children did. So, thank you for doing what you did. Thanks.
Thanks, Ray. Dave?
I'm good with it. Again, I did what the other board members said. I think it was a good process for what it was. To take the best of the bad situation that we had, and hopefully moving forward we get this done. And I would encourage folks to get out and vote. And come speak your mind again. Hopefully we get a little better turnout. Again, thanks to the staff for your hard work and all you guys for all these meetings and all of that. So, and I'm up against the rec meeting, so vote quick.
Okay.
Yeah,
So I just wanted to say that, thank you guys for putting this together. I think this was a learning for us. Keep this in mind when we start building next year's budget. We have to be aware of what our survey told us when we start the budget next year. I think it's very important that we keep our students' programs going. The students had a tough time the last 2 years, and if we do anything that affects them, I'm very concerned. So I think it's very important that this is a good budget and that we approve it tonight.
And I just want to say, thank you for all the work. I have a child in the district. He's a special ed child, and I support this budget that we have, not just for him, but for every student in the district. So I definitely think it's a good budget, and please go and vote. Thank you. Thanks. Okay.
So, it's my turn. So, again, can't thank the cabinet enough for going through the budget and making some tough yet necessary and challenging decisions not to affect children's education or any of the programs. The survey was taken to heart, and it's not just for now, it's for the future. There's a lot of valuable information in there to take into consideration for the future. So we thank you for that. It is very important for everyone to get out and vote on the 21st. And a special thanks to District Clerk LaRocca for taking us through this process with the meetings and the Zooms and such. And come election day, you will see her live stream counting all the ballots by hand to make sure everything is properly recorded. So thank you once again. It is truly appreciated for all your efforts. So with that, Trustee DeLillo, would you like to read
Sure.
item B? Reading
Item 8.
B.
B.
Oh, wait, sorry. Before I do A first.
Number 3A.
3A.
3A, okay, resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools that Board of Education does hereby approve of the budget for the 2022-2023 school year in the amount of $132,463,845.
Get a motion to accept that, please?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Second.
Yeah.
We got a second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right. Would you like to read B?
Okay. Without glasses, we'll see.
Oh,
what-
no.
I can hear. That's all right. Okay. Resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools that the Board of Education of the Mahopac Central School District adopts a contingency budget in the amount of $130,003,388 for the 2022-2023 fiscal year, but only in the event the revised position is defeated.
And a A motion, can we have a second?
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 No opposed. There we go, tax card to C. Be resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools that the Board of Education does hereby approve the revised Mahopac Central School District 22-23 property tax report card as per attached. Motion on that.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
And then we do the MOA 4, which is D, right? Resolved that the Board of Education of the Mahopac Central School District approves and authorizes the superintendent of schools to execute a memorandum of understanding with the town of Carmel regarding the appraisal of real property identified on the tax map. Town of Carmel is section 76.22, block 1, lots 7, 55, and 56. In the form attached hereto, a fully executed copy which shall be filed with the district clerk. Your motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right. That concludes our agenda for this evening. Looking at the correct camera now. So, again, everyone, thank you for joining us tonight. Sorry we got off to a late start. And June 21st, please come out and vote. Thank you and have a good night.
Motion to close.
Oh, motion to close, please.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Second.
Aye.
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 Good night.
Aye.